Hello everyone, this is a 2005 BMW 525i, and today I'm going to be replacing the window regulator. We've come to the conclusion that that's what's not working. So I'm going to show you how to take this door panel off and change the regulator and everything. But for now, let's go ahead and get started. In order to take this door panel off, there's going to be one little dot right there. You're going to take that off with a flathead or any other small tool that you may have. And then there's another one right over here. But these are going to be Phillips head, so you want to go ahead and have a Phillips, and then like I said, a flathead to go ahead and take those little things off. They're very small. Make sure you don't lose them so that you can put these covers right back on. So after you've taken those two off, then you're going to use either a flathead or if you have some kind of pry tool. And I started actually from that side. So you want to go ahead and put it in there, pry it out. You want to, of course, get in between the clips. You don't want to hit one of the clips because then you're going to break them. Now there's going to be a locking mechanism right here. You're going to want to be careful with that because you don't want to bend it. So once you get the door off, the way that I just did, you're going to pick it up and make sure that it stays where it's at. There's going to be some electrical that you're going to need to disconnect here, of course. So it's a little bit difficult to see. But right here, there's going to be one connection. You're going to pull that right out. And then if you kind of look in between, there's actually another one right in there. But I think it's going to be a little bit easier if we take it off from here. There's going to be one more down here. And then, of course, you're going to need to disconnect this so that you can get the door panel off. Okay, so this is going to be the bottom of the door panel. There's one more that I did not notice, and it seems impossible. But if you turn it around here, there's actually a light down here that you need to pop off with a, with a pry tool, or simply just with a flathead. So it should just pop off pretty easily. Honestly, you just kind of pull that off with your fingers. It'll come off sideways, and you can see here that that's the wire. Now, each of these little clips are going to be a little bit difficult to take off. But I'll go over this one first. This is actually the one that goes on the bottom of the door panel that I was showing you a little bit earlier. This one, you're going to squeeze it kind of hard with one hand, but you're going to squeeze it like that so that it can come out. Now these, it looks like they just come out with a little bit of force. You just have to grab it well. I was able to take it out by hand. If you need tools, you might want to use like needle nose or something like that. Same thing for this one, it just came right out. This one right here, where you pull the handle to open the door, it's not gonna come off from this side. It actually came off pretty easily right here. So as you can see here, it kind of moves like that, up and down. You're gonna wanna move it this way and then up, and it just comes right off. All right, so this is gonna be a lot of unplugging, but you can see that we have pretty much everything unplugged. Now, we still do have to take this off to get to the regulator. And so, of course, there's going to be something here that's kind of holding on to the wire, but then this whole wire is plugged in right here. If you see right here, there's going to be a little clip that you can move up and down, up and down. You're going to want to pull it down, try to get that side out, and then on the other side, there's something similar, but it's much smaller. And it's not too difficult to get to. You can see how big this one is right here. So you're just going to do that, and it'll pop right out. And the next one was this one that I just showed you. It should just pop out. It's got this little clip in there. All I did was put some pressure on this side, put some pressure on the other side with the flathead, and pulled it out so that I didn't break it. And now this is pretty much just one little harness, and it shouldn't get in your way. We're gonna go ahead and take all of this off right here, and it should just come off because it's pretty much just glued. Okay, now one last thing. There's gonna be this clip right here that holds the door panel on normally. Now, of course, you're not gonna need this for now because you're not having the door panel on. So if you can see here, there's these little clips that if you pull it off, it's kind of stopping you from pulling it off. So of course you're gonna need some pliers to push this in. I'm gonna go ahead and use a needle nose. I'm just squeezing it right now with the needle nose, and I think maybe that should have been good enough. Not quite. I'll go ahead and work on this, and it should just come right off. It looks like it shouldn't give us any issues coming off, and you can see the window regulator completely right there. All right, so this right here is going to be where you're going to go ahead and take the window off of the motor. The bolt that was holding the window to the regulator is going to be a Torx 30, and then there's going to be a 10 millimeter that I've already taken off right here. You can use a wrench to take that off. I would recommend that because when I tried to fit a ratchet in here, it really wasn't working too well. And then this one is also going to be a Torx 30. So this one, and then this one to go ahead and take the motor off of this right here. Okay, so after further inspection, there's going to be a bolt that you're going to have to take off straight through here. But as you can see, I'm hitting the glass. And even if I pull it all the way up, it's still going to hit the glass no matter what. So we're gonna need to take it off, and I'm gonna show you how. It is a little bit difficult, but I'll definitely show you how. I was able to go ahead and get this off. Now I put it back on just so that I can show you guys how I got it off. It looks like it's one whole piece, but there's actually gonna be a hole right through in the middle, and you're gonna use a flathead again or a pry bar, and it kind of wraps around a piece of metal that's right here, and then there's gonna be a couple of Phillips right here, or I guess a few Phillips right here. So you're gonna want to pry this off. It's pretty difficult, but it comes off right there. Comes right off. Now I'm not gonna take this whole thing off because it actually is one piece all the way up into the top. But as you can see here, there's gonna be a Phillips right there, a Phillips there, and a Phillips there, which should allow you to take off this front piece. So there's a piece over here in the front that needs to come off that I'll show you in a second. But in order to do that, you're gonna need to take off this plastic piece that's over here on the side. Now this side is actually pretty easy. It just comes off, you know, it just kind of comes off from here. Mine was pretty loose. I'm not sure if yours is gonna be this loose, but you know, if not, it's just rubber. So I mean, just kind of move it around. Just try not to poke a hole in it or anything like that. But then the rest of it should come off. You really just need to take it off up to here. And I mean, you can kind of just leave it there. It's no problem. And then I'll take you around the other side to show you how to get the other side off. There's gonna be this edge right here, and that's actually what we're gonna need to also take off from the front. And I'll go ahead and show you how we do that as well. Okay, so you can also see here that there's gonna be like it kind of feels like suede. It's what the window goes on. You're gonna go ahead and actually pull this off completely. It's just rubber, so it should just come off just like that. Very simple, very easy. I've actually already gone ahead and taken these out, but right here, I'm not sure if you could see, there's gonna be 3 holes, 3 Phillips. You're gonna take those 3 off completely. I was showing you earlier that on this side, there's actually gonna be an edge that's kind of folding over the window. You're gonna just go ahead and pry that off. It should come off fairly easy. And after you've done that, this goes into the door, so you're gonna wanna pull it up, and it should just come right off. Next, you take the window out. Easy peasy. At the top of the regulator, there's gonna be another bolt that I mentioned earlier. It's actually gonna be a 3/8, but you're gonna need to use the one that has 12 points. That way it'll go ahead and turn, because it's not gonna be a regular one. It's actually gonna be a star. And when I take it out, I'll show you. This is gonna be it right here. So this is a comparison side by side. Obviously you can see why we're replacing this. And it's just gonna be bolting it back up pretty much the exact same way that it came out. This new regulator came with its own bolt, and it's actually gonna be a 10mm. So this makes life a little bit easier since the bottom one is also a 10mm. So we didn't have to use 2 different sizes. Well, we did when we took out the original one, but now we're gonna have to use the same ones when putting it in. Okay, so I've gotten the new regulator in there. I've attached the old motor, and actually me and my dad went ahead and tested it out to make sure that this was going up and down properly. It looks like it was, so we're gonna go ahead and put the window back in now. I'm gonna go ahead and put this front piece on first, and then I'll attach the window and everything. That way the window can slip straight into the rails that it has. Next is gonna be the seal that goes here on the top and on the side. Next is gonna be this seal again. Now I took this off that goes here, just so that I could be able to see in there a little bit easier, because the glass is gonna have to line up with these rails that we just put on, or I suppose I could say these seals. and it's a little hard to see. So once you know that they've been lined up, then you can go ahead and put this back on easily. So we're gonna go ahead and put this Torx 30 bolt back on the window, and also at the same time line up on the rails the window. When I was testing the window, I made sure that I left it a little bit higher. That way it's a little bit easier for me to put on this Torx 30. When you're tightening the Torx 30 that goes on the window, make sure you don't over tighten it so that you don't break the window. Now I just put the window back on, and I'm gonna go ahead and have my dad test it out again, just to make sure that it does go up and down. Now, when you're gonna test it, make sure you don't go all the way up or go all the way down. Try it little by little, just in case you miss something and then it gets stuck. You don't want it to get stuck on something and the motor keep trying to push it up. So little by little go up, and then little by little go down. See, this is a really good example. I didn't put the seal in correctly over here, so it was still protruding out more than it should have. So it looks like that might be the main reason that it was getting stuck. So I'm not too sure if you saw what was just happening there. The window was going up, and right when it would get up, it would stop and come right back down. It would hit the top and then come down halfway. That's a safety measure done by BMW, you know, just in case you get your hand or something stuck here. If the motor feels any kind of resistance, it stops and it reverses. Now, in this case, there's nothing there that was actually causing it to return. What's happening is that the motor was not adjusted properly. It was hitting the top, and it thought that there was still some left, like, to keep going, and so it thought, okay, you know what, I just hit something, I'm feeling resistance, let me go back down. But that really wasn't the case. The window was just closing. So in case that happens to you, what you're gonna need to do is the reset that BMW has set. Now, my dad was actually able to help me out with this. I actually had to go somewhere, but while I was gone, he was able to do the reset. What you do, you turn the key over to the ignition, but you don't turn it on. You just turn it to the ignition. And then what he ended up doing was connecting the harness to the door panel without the panel being on the car. Now, of course, the reason we did that is just in case that was not the problem. We didn't want to have to put everything on and then take everything right back off. So the process to reset these motors in BMWs of this year, at least, you press the button down for 15 to 20 seconds. Once you're done with that, then you pull it up for 15 to 20 seconds. What that does is that teaches a motor that's going to be the new stopping point. So once you get to that point and you hold it there for the 15 to 20 seconds, then the motor's gonna know, okay, fine, this is exactly where we're gonna stop, and it's not gonna do it anymore. So that's just in case that happens to you, because that did happen to me. So what's next is just to continue putting everything back together. And there you go, that's how you replace the regulator on a 2005 BMW 525i. But generally speaking, it's pretty similar for most other vehicles. If you guys have any suggestions, if you think I missed anything like that, please feel free to comment down below. I enjoy making these videos, but please let me know how I can do better. Thank you, and have a good day.